I'm Sienna Bellamy, 39 years old, and 3 weeks ago, my father said one thing that made me cut him out of my life forever. When I became homeless with my 17-year-old son and asked my father for help, he looked me straight in the eyes and told me there was no room for me in his four-bedroom house. The same house where my 16-year-old half-sister has 3 bedrooms to herself, one for sleeping, one for her books, and one for her art. What my father didn't know was that someone had been watching all along and they had plans of their own. Before I continue, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy this story. Also, let me know where you're watching from and what time it is there. Now let me take you back 2 years to the day my life started falling apart. 2 years ago, I had $45,000 in savings and a decade of experience as an interior architect. Then Derek, my husband, didn't just have an affair. He drained our joint savings account and left behind $28,000 in credit card debt, with both our names on it. I had to pay it alone or lose my credit score forever. 8 months ago, my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. She fought for 6 months. The medical bills and funeral costs came to $35,000. I called my father once, desperate. Dad, I need help. Mom's treatments are expensive. That's your mother, Sienna, my ex-wife. She stopped being my responsibility 20 years ago. Diane wouldn't approve. He didn't come to the funeral either. His excuse, Olivia had a piano recital that weekend. 3 months ago, the design firm where I'd worked for 10 years filed for bankruptcy overnight. No severance. They still owed me $9,000 in back pay. I applied for unemployment, 6 to 8 weeks processing delay. I used what little cash I had left to pay rent for 3 months, praying I'd find another job. Then the eviction notice came. Mom, Ethan said that night, still wearing his green Starbucks apron. I asked my manager for more hours. We just need to save up for the deposit, right? I looked at my 17-year-old son, who woke up at 4:30 every morning to make coffee for strangers, and felt my heart crack. Don't even think about dropping out of school. Your SATs are more important. I'll figure something out. Ethan started working at Starbucks when my mother first got sick. Now he was bringing in about $900 a month. A new apartment needed at least $4,000 up front. We were nowhere close. The thing is, my father's neglect didn't start when I became homeless. It started the moment he married Diane. I was 18 when I found out about the affair. I came home early and saw them kissing in our house while my mother was at work. My mother never recovered from that betrayal. When I graduated college, my father didn't show up. Diane was pregnant. When I got married, he gave us $500. When Olivia was born, he bought Diane a $15,000 diamond ring to celebrate. The night after my mother's funeral, Ethan asked, "Mom, did I do something wrong? Is that why Grandpa never calls me?" I finally told him the truth about the affair, about Diane, about how his grandmother spent 20 years heartbroken. "Grandma always said I was hardworking," Ethan whispered. "She would have been proud of me, right? She was proud of you. She told me that every single day." We'd been sleeping in our car for 3 nights when I finally broke. Walmart parking lot, space 247. Ethan's alarm went off at 4:30. I watched him grab his uniform, drive away in the dark to shower in the employee bathroom before his shift. His SATs were in 2 weeks. He'd been studying on his phone, squinting at practice problems in parking lot lamplight. I was still waiting on unemployment. I had no more options. Well, one option. I called my father. "Dad, Ethan and I are homeless." Silence. I told him everything. The bankruptcy, the eviction, the car. "We just need a place to stay for 2 weeks, just until I find a job." "Ethan has his SATs coming up. He needs a real desk, a real bed. There's no room. You have 4 bedrooms. Olivia needs them, all 3 of them. She's developing her talents, Sienna. You wouldn't understand. Ethan could sleep on the couch, the floor, anywhere." "No, Ethan isn't Diane's grandchild. He makes her uncomfortable." His voice hardened. "Besides, the kid makes coffee for a living. That's the future you raised him for. Olivia is preparing for art school. Do you see the difference?" Then Diane's voice came through. She must have grabbed the phone. "Sienna, you're 39 years old and you still can't take care of yourself. Your husband left you. Your mother died. Your company fired you. Maybe you should ask yourself if you're the problem." The line went dead. I called back, hands shaking, voice steady. I wasn't finished. "4 bedrooms, Dad. Olivia needs 3, but Ethan wakes up at 4 in the morning. He showers in the employee bathroom because we don't have running water. He's 17 years old. That's not my. You mocked him for working. You said, the kid makes coffee for a living. Those were your exact words. Silence. So Diane decides who lives in your house now. It's our house. Is it? I remember things Grandma told me when I was little about that house, about who it really belongs to. Don't bring my mother into this. Why not? Does she know you didn't come to Mom's funeral? Does she know you're refusing to help your own grandson? Does she know you laughed at Ethan for having a job? My mother is 80 years old. She doesn't need to be bothered. Then you better hope I don't need to call her. He hung up. I didn't realize Ethan was awake until I heard him sniffle in the back seat. Mom, did Grandpa really say that about my job? He'd heard everything. I work really hard. He was trying not to cry. Grandma always said she was proud of me. But Grandpa didn't even come to her funeral, didn't help when she was sick. And now he's making fun of me for having a job while we're living in a car. Your grandmother was proud of you. She told me that every single day, and the man who couldn't bother to show up at her funeral doesn't get to define your worth. Who's this grandma you mentioned on the phone? The one who told you things about the house? That's your great-grandma, Grandma Margaret, and I think it's time you knew about her. The next morning, I called my father one more time. I have one question. What does Grandma know? The silence was different, heavy. Does she know you didn't come to Mom's funeral? Does she know you refused to let your granddaughter and great-grandson stay in her house? Does she know you mocked Ethan for working? My mother doesn't need to hear about any of this. She loved Mom, didn't she? She was furious when you had the affair. And if she found out about all of this, the funeral, the house, how you talked about Ethan, she'd have something to say about it. You wouldn't. I'm asking for 2 weeks, a corner of your house, a place for Ethan to sleep and study. That's it. I already said no. Then I hope you're ready for Grandma to find out what kind of man her son has become. That evening, I called Uncle Thomas, my father's younger brother, a real estate attorney who'd come to my mother's funeral. Uncle Thomas, I need to ask you something about Grandma's house. I told him everything. Your father said that about Ethan's job? His voice was heavy with disgust. That boy wakes up at 4 in the morning, and Richard mocks him for it. Uncle Thomas, the house, is it still? Sienna, your grandmother was furious when Richard didn't show up to Linda's funeral. She never forgave him for the affair. She tolerated Diane for Richard's sake, but never accepted her. He paused. The house is still in her name, 100%. Richard has been living there rent-free for 30 years. Call her. She'll want to hear this. And Sienna, she's going to be very, very angry. I called Grandma Margaret. She answered after 2 rings. Sienna, is that you? Hi, Grandma. I'm sorry I haven't called in so long. Don't apologize. I know you've been through hell. I miss you, sweetheart, and I miss your mother. Linda was the best daughter-in-law I ever had. I still have her photo on my nightstand. Did you hear that? When Grandma said she still keeps my mother's photo on her nightstand for 20 years, I thought I was alone in this family. I thought everyone had forgotten about my mom. But Grandma never forgot. What do you think she's planning? What's going to happen at that birthday party? Let me know in the comments what you think is coming. And if you're still with me, hit that like button so I know you're here. Thomas told me what's happening. My grandson refuses to help his daughter and great-grandson while they're living in a car, and he mocked that boy for working. Grandma, I don't know what to do. Richard doesn't own that house. I do, and he has the audacity to turn away my great-granddaughter, to laugh at my great-great-grandson for having a job. She took a breath. When is that girl's birthday party? Olivia's? Next Saturday. Because I'm going, and so are you, and so is Ethan. Grandma, Dad didn't invite us. I'm inviting you. I'm the owner of that house. My invitation is the only one that matters. The day of the party, Uncle Thomas dropped off clothes, a borrowed navy dress for me, a white button-down for Ethan. Ethan tried it on. Do I look okay? You look perfect. I asked my manager to switch my shift. She even wrote me a recommendation letter for college applications. She said I'm one of the most dedicated employees she's ever had. He paused. I wanted to show Great-Grandma, so she knows I'm not what Grandpa said I am. She already knows, Ethan. We pulled up to the house in our beat-up Honda. Luxury cars lined the driveway. The backyard was transformed. Pink and white decorations, string lights, a massive Happy Sweet 16 Olivia banner. 50 people in cocktail dresses and tailored suits. We walked through the gate. Within 30 seconds, whispers started. My father saw us and his smile vanished. He and Diane approached. What are you doing here? Diane hissed. And why did you bring him? Grandma Margaret invited us. She has no right to invite anyone to our house. Your house? Are you sure about that? My father grabbed my arm, pulling me aside. Sienna, I told you not to come. And I told you Grandma invited me. This is Olivia's day. You're not going to ruin it. We're not going anywhere. My father's eyes flicked to Ethan. And you brought him. The coffee boy. What did you want to show everyone what a great job you've done raising him? Homeless, living in your car. Husband left you. Mother died. Company fired you. And this is what you have to show for it? A kid who makes lattes. Guests had stopped pretending not to listen. Phones were coming out. Think what, Richard? The voice came from behind us, clear and sharp as a blade. Grandma Margaret stood at the edge of the patio, a worn leather briefcase in her hand. Behind her, Uncle Thomas appeared. The entire party went silent. Even the DJ stopped. Mom, what are you doing here? Grandma walked straight past him, past Diane, past the gawking guests. She stopped in front of me and pulled me into her arms. My girl, I'm so sorry I wasn't there sooner. Then she turned to Ethan. And you're Ethan, Linda's great-grandson. Ethan nodded, unable to speak. Grandma took his hands in hers. Your grandmother told me everything about you. She said you were the hardest worker she'd ever known. She said you woke up before dawn to help your mother. She said you never complained, not once. Loud enough for everyone to hear. She was so proud of you, and so am I. 50 people stood frozen, every eye fixed on the small silver-haired woman. Grandma turned to face my father. Richard, would you like to explain something to me? Mom, this isn't the time. You didn't come to Linda's funeral. A gasp rippled through the crowd. Linda was married to you for 18 years. She gave you a daughter. She loved you despite everything. And when she died, you couldn't be bothered to pay your respects because Olivia had a piano recital. Mom, please. I'm not finished. Your granddaughter and great-grandson have been living in their car, sleeping in parking lots. Ethan wakes up at 4 in the morning to go to work, then studies for his SATs under streetlights. And you refuse to help them? There wasn't room? There wasn't room in a 4-bedroom house. Your stepdaughter has 3 bedrooms for her hobbies, and you told your own flesh and blood there wasn't room. Diane stepped forward. Margaret, with all due respect, I'm not speaking to you. Diane's mouth snapped shut. And another thing, Thomas told me what you said about Ethan, about his job. My father's face went white. You mocked that boy. You laughed at him for working, for helping his mother survive. That child has more dignity in his little finger than you've shown in your entire life. The whispers became a steady murmur. Fragments drifted. Didn't go to the funeral. Living in a car. Mocked the kid for having a job. Mom, can we talk about this privately, please? Privately? You humiliated Sienna and Ethan publicly. Why should you get the courtesy of privacy? This is my house. No, Richard, it isn't. The murmur stopped. Silence was absolute. This is our home, Diane protested. We've lived here for 30 years. You've lived here for 30 years, rent-free in a house that belongs to me. That's not. Be quiet. You're the woman who broke up my son's first marriage. You don't get to speak to me about what's fair. Phones were filming now. Dad, what's going on? Olivia appeared, her sweet 16 tiara askew. Who is she? She pointed at me. Why is everyone saying she's your daughter? My father had no answer. Grandma opened her briefcase and pulled out papers. This is the deed to this house. Registered in my name, Margaret Elizabeth Bellamy. It has never been transferred. This house belongs to me. Mom, you promised this house would be mine. I said it would be yours when you deserved it. Do you deserve it, Richard? After everything you've done? You cheated on Linda. You abandoned your daughter. You didn't come to your ex-wife's funeral. You refused to help Sienna when she was homeless. And you mocked your own great-grandson for working. You've been living in my house for 30 years, rent-free, while behaving like this. Do you truly believe you deserve to own it? Uncle Thomas stepped forward. I'm a real estate attorney. I can confirm this property remains solely in our mother's name. Richard has no legal claim to it. Dad, Olivia's voice trembled. What does this mean? Is this not our house? Grandma turned to me. Sienna, Ethan, you're moving into the downstairs bedroom tonight. You can't do this. Diane's voice was shrill. This is our home. Olivia needs those rooms. Sienna, Ethan, you'll take the guest room on the first floor. There's a desk, a proper bed, and a bathroom. Mom, please, don't touch me. You've had 30 years to be a decent human being, and you've failed at every turn. Olivia needs 1 bedroom. Like every other teenager. She doesn't need 3 rooms for hobbies while her nephew sleeps in a car. She turned to Ethan. You need a real place to study, to sleep, to rest. Your grandmother would have wanted that for you. And so do I. Uncle Thomas spoke up. If Richard and Diane refuse to comply with the property owner's wishes, I can assist my mother in initiating formal eviction proceedings. Under Oregon law, they would have 30 days to vacate. Guests were leaving, slipping away quietly. No one was saying goodbye to my father. The party was over. I stepped closer to Richard. I didn't want this. You could have given us 2 weeks. That's all I asked for. 2 weeks, and none of this would have happened. He didn't respond. Should I forgive my father after everything he's done? Or are some boundaries necessary for survival? Tell me what you think in the comments, and if you want to hear how this ends, stay with me. We're almost there. We moved into the guest room that night. After 3 weeks of sleeping in a car, it felt like a palace. Ethan sat at the desk and ran his hands over the surface. I can study here. I can actually sit at a real desk and study. He pulled out his SAT prep book and his manager's recommendation letter. I read, Ethan is one of the most dedicated and hardworking employees I have ever had the privilege of managing. Despite facing personal challenges that would have broken most adults, he has never once complained. Grandma appeared with a framed photograph. I thought you might want this. It was my mother, younger, laughing, standing in the garden. That was taken the first year she was married to Richard, before everything went wrong. She was such a light in this family. A week later, my father knocked on my door. He sat on the edge of the bed. I'm sorry for what I said about Ethan, about his job. I shouldn't have. What exactly are you sorry for, Dad? Are you sorry because you hurt us, or are you sorry because you got caught? Silence. I was under pressure. Diane was upset in the party. You didn't come to Mom's funeral. You didn't help with her medical bills. You didn't even call when she was dying. And when Ethan and I were living in our car, when your grandson was waking up at 4 a.m. to work, you laughed at him. Ethan heard you, Dad. He heard his grandfather mock him for trying to help his family survive. Richard's eyes dropped to the floor. I didn't think. No, you didn't. Then he asked, what do you want from me? Not I'll change, not I'll do better. Just what do you want? He still didn't get it. I don't want anything from you, Dad. I just want you to understand why I can't pretend everything is okay. He left without another word. 3 weeks after the party, everything fell into place. I got a job offer at a small interior design firm. The unemployment back pay came through, $3,200. I used it to pay off the last of Derek's debt. Ethan took his SATs and scored in the top 15% nationally. His manager promoted him to shift supervisor, the youngest in his district. Mom, he said, showing me the score report, do you think Grandma would have been proud? She was always proud of you, baby. Always. The day before we moved out, Grandma called me to her room. I've been thinking about the future, about this house, about what happens when I'm gone. I'm rewriting my will. Richard won't inherit this house. It'll go to you and Ethan. Grandma, I don't need. This isn't about need. It's about what's right. Your mother loved this house. I want it to stay with people who will honor that memory. She squeezed my hand. You've been through so much. Derek, your mother, the bankruptcy, Richard's cruelty, but you never gave up. You never let it break you. Linda would be so proud of the woman you've become. Thank you for everything. Thank me by living a good life. That's all I ask. The day I moved out, I sent my father one final message. Dad, I want you to know that I don't hate you. I spent too many years hoping you'd change, hoping you'd see me. I'm done hoping. Grandma gave us a roof when you wouldn't. She told Ethan he was worth something when you mocked him. She remembered Mom when you couldn't even show up to her funeral. I'm not cutting you off out of anger. I'm doing it because I need to protect myself and my son. If you ever truly change, not because you're embarrassed, but because you realize what you've done, you know how to reach me. Until then, this is goodbye. He never responded. But Olivia reached out. Sienna, I'm sorry about everything. I didn't know about you or what happened with Dad. I had 3 bedrooms while you and Ethan had nothing. I'm really, really sorry. I wrote back, you have nothing to apologize for, Olivia. None of this was your fault. If you want to get to know me and Ethan, we're here. Ethan sent her a message too. Hey, it's your nephew. Don't stress about it. I make coffee for a living, and there's nothing wrong with that. Let me know if you ever want to hang out. That night in our new apartment, I placed my mother's photograph on the bookshelf. We made it, Mom. Ethan and I, we're gonna be okay. My son looked up from his desk, working on college applications. Mom, thank you for not giving up, for fighting for us. I walked over and hugged him. I didn't win because of the house. I won because you know that waking up at 4 a.m. to help your family is something to be proud of, no matter what anyone else says. Grandma would be proud, he whispered. She is, baby. She is. That's my story. My mother died 8 months ago, and my father couldn't be bothered to attend her funeral. Then he mocked my son for having a job that helps our family survive. But my grandmother remembered. She remembered my mother. She remembered what family is supposed to mean. And when it mattered most, she stood up for us. If you've ever lost someone and felt alone, if you've ever been mocked for the work you do, if you've ever felt like you didn't belong in your own family, you're not alone. I see you. Tell me your story in the comments. I read every single one. And if this video meant something to you, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. There's a link in the description to another story you might connect with. Thank you for staying until the end. Thank you for being here with me.